Breast cancer is the second leading cause of death from cancer in women in sub-Saharan Africa. According to a study published in the Lancet Global Health in 2020, the 5-year survival rates of all stages in African countries, ranging from 20% to 85%, are much lower than those in high-income countries, which is normally above 85%. Despite its higher mortality rates, it appears that breast cancer is not getting enough attention from the healthcare community and society in Africa. Hello, I'm Amina Aliyu. Welcome to Our Voices. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as you can probably see from my pink outfit, we are dedicating this week's show to bring more attention to the evolving epidemic and provide more information and resources to survivors and their families. When it comes to breast cancer, the lack of knowledge of screening and treatment causes most of the disease's deaths in Africa. In many places, people don't discuss the issue openly. Our Voices producer Abby Son talked to Dr. Lisa Newman, a surgical oncologist and the director of breast cancer program for the Weill Cornell Medicine New York Presbyterian Hospital Network. Dr. Newman has done extensive research on breast cancer disparity associated with ethnic backgrounds. Let's take a look.
Breast cancer death rates are 40% higher in Black African American women compared to white American women. A lot of that disparity is indeed related to the social and economic inequities that we see here in the United States, with poverty rates and lack of insurance being higher in the African American community. And then there's also a whole host of other horrific manifestations of systemic racism in the healthcare system. However, there are definitely factors related to the genetics of African ancestry that also contribute. And the fact that African American women are twice as likely to have a biologically aggressive form of breast cancer known as triple negative breast cancer is one example of how genetics contribute to these disparities. And for the triple negative breast cancers, we cannot offer those hormonally active cancer fighting pills. So triple negative breast cancers are actually inherently more aggressive and more likely to metastasize.
That brought up my next question. You and your team member developed this new field of research named oncologic anthropology. Would you tell us more about this?
Yeah. As we continue to explore the connections between African ancestry and risk of triple negative breast cancer, our research team evolved to become this very large international group. And our team based here in the United States has research partners in different regions of Africa. Our oldest partners are located in Ghana at the Comfort Teaching Hospital in Kumasi, Ghana. And then we also have research partners in Ethiopia, the St. Paul's Hospital with Millennium Medical College in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Now, interestingly, the frequency of triple negative breast cancers is very, very high among the Ghanaian breast cancer patients that we've been seeing. The frequency of triple negative breast cancers among the Ethiopian patients located in East Africa that we've been looking at is only about 15%, so it's also quite low. And then when you look at shared ancestry, it makes sense that we see these patterns because when you think back to the transatlantic slave trade from several hundred years ago, that slave trade brought the ancestors of contemporary Ghanaians on the western sub-Saharan coast of Africa across the ocean to serve as slaves in the colonies. And so as contemporary African Americans, we have a lot of shared ancestry with contemporary Ghanaians. The slave trade from East Africa, on the other hand, largely went further eastward to the Mideast and to Asia. So this is where the term oncologic anthropology comes into the picture. And currently we have honed in on a particular genetic marker associated with Western Sub-Saharan African ancestry, and it's a marker called the Duffy null allele. is a pattern that developed in the genetics of Western Sub-Saharan Africans several thousand years ago, because it's one of the variants that developed as a consequence of populations in that part of Africa having to survive malaria. And the Duffy null variant confers some resistance to malaria. As a consequence, nearly all Western Sub-Saharan Africans carry that variant. In East Africa, the history of malaria is quite different because a lot of the mountainous areas of parts of East Africa and in Southern Africa don't support the mosquito life cycle, and the mosquito is the host for the malaria pathogen, of course. So you don't see the Duffy null variant expressed to the same degree in East Africa.
You just mentioned your work in Ghana and Ethiopia. I think it was 2004 you first took the initiative and reached out to the hospital in Ghana. Now, many years passed, you traveled back so many times. Could you share with us what have been done?
Sure, I'd love to. And I do want to emphasize that even though I've been stressing the fact that triple negative breast cancer is biologically more aggressive, when it's caught early, triple negative breast cancer does have an excellent survival rate. So it's extremely important for women to be mindful of breast health awareness, to get their mammograms regularly. If they notice a change in their breast, like a new lump or a bloody nipple discharge, change in the skin of the breast, please seek medical attention right away, because early detection makes a huge difference. And this is true even for triple negative breast cancer. For our international collaborations, over the past many years that we've been working in different parts of Africa, we have seen improvements made in terms of women presenting with breast cancers at more treatable stages. And our partners in Africa have been absolutely phenomenal in terms of being able to work very aggressively with their African patient populations, despite being handicapped by having so few resources to work with.
I had the opportunity to discuss ways in which African women can improve the outcome of breast cancer and close the wide disparity gap with Dr. Melissa Durand and Dr. Augustina Badu-Peprah, both are radiologists who have been working tirelessly with the NGO RADAID to bring technology and information to Ethiopia and now to Ghana.
Melissa, I wanted to ask you about the work that you do in Ghana with improving the chances of African women to survive breast cancer. Can you shed a little bit of light on that?
Sure. So I also work with an organization called RADAID, and RADAID is this nonprofit group that started, I think, in 2008, and they have a goal to provide medical imaging to lower resource countries around the world. So in 2019, they sent me to Ghana, which is where I met Dr. Augustina, and we just basically looked at some of the programs there and what they had and what kind of challenges they had. Our goal, is in Ghana and also in the US, is early detection, because that's what saves lives. And what we found is there are, a team of surgeons and radiologists and oncologists at the hospital in Kumasi. But a lot of the time, women are presenting at late stages. They're presenting when they already have a lump. So our goal is to improve education, maybe establish a screening program, but certainly also to help the physicians there be able to do biopsies with image guidance, so we can get to make diagnoses of smaller cancers at lower stages and hopefully then decrease the rate of dying from breast cancer.
Augustina, what can you tell us about the structures that you already have in place right now to help these women?
The prevalence of cancer here is quite high. The recent one is about 4.5%. That's the prevalence of breast cancer. So, and since they are already coming late because there's no screening program, we're trying to see how best we can get to them to bring them to the hospital. So in my hospital, we've set up this breast care center where anybody can walk in to be examined, and that's really helping. And then we keep on doing these educations and talk shows to encourage people come to the hospital to do the imaging.
Melissa, what would be the best preventative measures before they get to that stage of having to have a mastectomy?
In the US, the 5-year survival rate for localized breast cancer is like 99%. But in a country like Ghana, the 5-year survival rate can be as low as 25%, because women are waiting so long to get treatment and they don't have that screening program in place. I think breast cancer screening is definitely important. And then educating the physicians as well so that they can help educate their patients better. And that's part of this fellowship program that we're starting to collaborate on with Dr. Badu-Peprah and RADIOLOGIST.
Augustina, would you like to add anything to this particular line of question?
I think the way forward is to get more organization and the government involved in a free screening program. With that, we can get people getting the diagnosis early, and we having people trained to specialize in breast imaging will also help in accurate and early diagnosis and appropriate management.
Melissa, can you tell us more about the fellowship program?
Sure. They started last year during COVID, so it was all virtual. And RADIOLOGIST ran a program with Ethiopia with a series of lectures. And there were about 20 different lectures and case reviews on breast anatomy and physiology, screening and diagnostic mammography, how to find lesions, what to do with them. And then also ultrasound and MRI. We're hoping to come back to Ghana and be able to work on these procedures with the radiologists and surgeons there so we can get to these cancers earlier, make that diagnosis earlier, and help treat these women better.
Augustina, with the limited resources that you have and the expertise that Melissa brings to the table, how have you been able to marry the two, and what kind of progress have you made so far?
Well, after the cancer registry, the International Union of Cancer formed what we call the City Cancer Challenge in Kumasi, where there's a team of specialists, the same multidisciplinary team, have been brought together to see the way forward, the equipment that we need, the training that we need, and everything that we need to make sure that we'll be able to manage these cancer patients. This year, the turnout for imaging has been high, and accuracy has also improved. And I believe with the multidisciplinary team on board, we are also improving on the management of these patients.
How early on do you think young women need to start taking precaution to help them prevent this type of cancer?
We've noticed that those with family history really present early as in their 20s. So I think those with family history should start being seen from the age of 20, so that if there's the disease, it can be picked early. There was this health worker, she was about 25 with a family history of breast cancer, and she was worried that she would get one. And she woke up one day with a lump. And by the time we're through with evaluation and managing and all that, the cancer has really spread. And within a month, she was dying. And she died I think within maximum was 2 months that she died. So usually the disease is so fast if it's in the younger people, those with the hormone receptor triple negative cases, they present early. The disease is very aggressive and it kills them very fast and does not respond to anything. So I think it's better if such cases are screened earlier, maybe from 20 with physical examination and maybe an MRI. And from 30s or 35, we should be starting our annual screening, since our cancers are usually very early than in the Western world.
It's time for a short break. What do you want to know about breast cancer? Does your country or region provide enough access to information and medical resources? Please share with us on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our handle is at VOA Our Voices. We are on WhatsApp too. Our number is on the screen. When we return, hairdressers in Nairobi are providing free wigs for female cancer patients after undergoing treatment. Is this improving their confidence? Stay with us.
We're bringing women's voices to the conversation, and more than that, we're building a community of inclusion and empowerment.
Here in Kinshasa, campaigns to raise awareness against the spread of coronavirus are common, but getting that information to people who have no access to water, electricity, or money can be a challenge.
We are here at Kalerwe Market in Uganda, Kampala, where in this whole market, women are crying out for their situations to change.
For women, it will be better for us.
I think a big thing for me is just being able to say that when these protests are happening, does it turn around into policy?
Our kids are raped every single day.
This movement got the government to listen. It really was powerful because it showed what is possible when men and women band together and say, enough is enough.
It's not necessary anymore to climb on a car. I can be in any place to cheer with the people.
Welcome back. You're watching Our Voices. This week we're focusing on breast cancer. Breast cancer cases are rising in Kenya, but treatment is not widely available and it is expensive. There also remains a stigma to women losing their hair from chemotherapy. One hairdresser in Nairobi is trying to solve that issue by providing free wigs for female cancer patients to help restore their confidence. Reporter Rod Elmendorp joins a makeover session for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Putting a smile on cancer patients' faces. That's what beautician Diana Akech does by providing free wigs in her Nairobi salon. 45-year-old Mary Nafula, a mother of 3, was diagnosed with cancer a year ago. Treatment saved Nafula's life, but her hair fell out, making her feel exposed. Now she finally has something to smile about.
Like what this salon has done to us today, she has instilled confidence in us, and through this we can live positively, we can embrace all the challenges that accompany us, knowing that we are going to heal.
Cancer is the third leading cause of death in Kenya, according to the World Health Organization, and the numbers are rising, from 37,000 reported cases in 2012 to almost 48,000 currently. Dr. Gladwell Kiarie is an oncologist at the Nairobi hospital. She attributes the rise to increased cancer screening and a change of lifestyle.
We are smoking more, we are taking alcohol more, our traditional diets have changed, and we no longer eat the traditional lifestyle foods that we used to. So we have more fatty foods, we have less water and greens in our food, more processed food.
The government responded with awareness campaigns and opening more diagnostic centers across the country. But most Kenyans who live on less than $3 a day cannot afford treatment. Nafula was fortunate enough to be able to pay for cancer therapy. And now having a wig, she's relieved of feeling stigmatized, especially on the streets and often in the Kenyan public transport vehicles called matatus.
I was very sick, I couldn't walk, and the matatu guy was like, you sick people, you're supposed to take in an ambulance. You should not enter the matatu because cancer can infect us. I felt so bad.
Diana Akech started doing makeovers 5 years ago after a friend developed cancer. The friend lost her hair, but Akech gave her a wig.
And I shared the story on social media, and everybody started, nominating their friends. And my friend gave me the willpower to keep doing this. So yeah, she's the one who motivated me. She's in heaven right now, and I'm sure she's very proud of what I'm doing.
The wigs cost around $250 each and are paid for by donations from hospitals and companies. For those recovering from cancer, The journey is often long and painful. A wig can ease the pain and serve as a reminder that they are not alone. Ruth Elmendorp for VOA News, Nairobi.
In the past 2 years, most healthcare facilities have been focused on the coronavirus pandemic. How does that affect the medical routine of cancer patients? VOA's Anita Powell spoke to a breast cancer survivor in South Africa who was trying to protect against both COVID-19 and a cancer recurrence.
Leanne Upiter knew something was wrong. For weeks, the 49-year-old preschool principal had noticed disconcerting changes in her right breast.
So I kind of went in for my mammogram knowing that I had breast cancer. I could feel it. I knew that was what had happened.
She was right. Hers was an aggressive, advanced form of breast cancer. A few days later, she started 6 grueling months of chemotherapy. Now that she's recovered, she takes steps to avoid catching coronavirus.
I am still very cautious. You know, when anybody's with me, they say, my God, how many times do you sanitize your hands? And I go, what have I got to lose? You know, I need to just sanitize my hands. And I don't worry to say to somebody, please put your mask on, you know, or, you know, can you just sit a little further away from me?
Medical professionals stress that South Africa's battle against breast cancer continues even as the pandemic rages. Dr. Saadia, who worked at a breast cancer unit at a government hospital, says awareness and screening have improved, but more work needs to be done.
We certainly have a better pickup rate of our cancers as well that has come to the fore with our increase in screening and awareness. Having said that, there's a lot of risk factors that have also changed, making breast cancer more common.
But Laher says there's good news.
There's also been changes in how we manage breast cancer and what we can do technological improvements that have allowed us to manage and treat early breast cancers differently.
South Africa is one of the world's most unequal societies, and the health system makes that abundantly clear. Upiter says free screening is important, but she also worries about breast cancer patients who don't have the resources needed to recover.
I think it is that post-cancer treatment, that support, that's where the meat of your recovery is. It's not a very glamorous term, but I feel that makes a big difference to a woman.
Shortly after the school principal was declared cancer-free, the coronavirus pandemic landed in South Africa. She now faces the task of rebuilding her immunity while also safeguarding the 70 small children in her care. She says she's thrilled to be back, even though she knows that her job poses health risks. For her, it's a daily reminder of how precious life is. Anita Powell, VOA News, Johannesburg.
It's time for another break. When we come back, Simegnish will take you on a journey of a brave young woman who is fighting breast cancer and raising awareness in social media. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Our Voices. In 2020, there were 2.3 million women diagnosed with breast cancer and 685,000 deaths globally. Despite the brutality of this disease, there's no shortage of bravery in these women fighting it. This week's Women to Watch, Simegnish Yekoye will introduce you to a young woman who lost her life to breast cancer but left a legacy for her fellow survivors. Simegnish?
Hello everyone, this is Women to Watch segment. Ethiopian-born California girl Mahlet Girma found out she has breast cancer in 2017. Since then, she has been outspoken about her treatment, loss of hair, support group, and spiritual life by vlogging her journey to create awareness and encourage people. Although Mahlet lost her battle to cancer a few weeks ago, her vlogging still keeps creating awareness. VOA's Eden Garamo has more details.
As you see this man, you probably know the ending, you probably end what happened. And I'm not, recording this so you guys can, or anything like that. I am recording, so you guys are encouraged by the journey, no matter what we go through.
This was the final message the 46-year-old Mahlet Girma sent via YouTube for her followers. It has been viewed over 500,000 times. Mahlet has been vlogging for over 4 years about her breast cancer diagnosis and treatment. Born in Ethiopia and raised in California, Mahlet came from a family of cancer fighters and survivors like her mother.
When I was pregnant with her, there was a lump in my breast, and then I had to get it out. Then, after that, I had some lumpy breasts and I had biopsies which were all negative. Till I found out in 2015 and I got treatment, and then mine was done at 2017.
The first time Mahlet found a lump in her breast and removed was when she was 17 years old. Fortunately, that lump wasn't cancerous. Since then, she and her mother had removed several lumps, prompting a request for genetic testing. And the result shows that the mother and daughter are genetically predisposed. A year later, Mahlet found out she had a breast cancer. But instead of a silent fight against the disease, she started vlogging her journey in order to create awareness about breast cancer and the treatment.
What she did with the vloggers, she wanted everything open to everyone, so that when they pass through things, so they know what to ask, what next, and things like that. And they should learn about cancer and the treatments openly. And that you can be strong mentally and you can win this. So that's what I'm sure her motto was.
Cancer survivor Mulubirhan Girma says support plays a big role during the journey.
A strong support group is very, very important. And they have to be, as I said, they have to be really good support group. They don't have to sympathize or empathize or something. So it's better, like her friends, I remember, they will be just coming one by one every time she goes to chemo. And they bring something that she likes, and that's acceptable also.
Mahlet Girma passed away on September 7, 2021. On her last video, she recorded a message for her followers saying her journey doesn't define theirs and encouraged people battling cancer and any other challenges to stay strong.
That's all for this week, but the conversation of breast cancer won't end here. Please keep it going with your friends and family in your communities and share your thoughts with us on social media. For more information and stories on breast cancer, please check VOA's website at voanews.com. On behalf of the Voice of America and Our Voices team, thanks for watching and stay safe.